Like a lot of these YouTubers, they just go on Rap Genius and then just make a video out of the Rap Genius explanations. The stuff that I just talked about, it's not even broken down on Rap Genius at this point.
Like every man of honor had to conquer, rob the Negro, like Ginger in Casino or that runway light in the heat.
This video is going to be about the song Rose Clique and that rhyme scheme where Nipsey ties in Prophet Muhammad, Robert De Niro, the movie Casino, the final scene in the movie Heat. Like it's just a masterful set of bars. But firstly, I kind of want to set the context, right? Let's set up the context. So when I first heard of Nipsey Hussle, like I said, I ignored him. I thought, okay, great. This is just more street rap. Like I've heard this before, especially at that time in LA, late 2000s. I've heard this. There's no reason for me to just continue listening to this. So this was a gross miscalculation on my part and a prime example of why I should not judge a book by its cover. And then one day I was listening to the Bullets Ain't Got No Name mixtape. See, when I call these rappers bad, I call them terrible, I actually do listen to their music. So even though I had dismissed Nipsey, I heard his name be brought back up. So I'm like, okay, let me go give him a full listen. And I'm listening through this mixtape and one song sticks out to me in a real way. The song is called Payback. So again, I'm thinking Nipsey, this is just a dude, he's gonna rap about his gang, rap about his hood, murders, drugs, whatever, right?
Whose leaders are being shot down in broad daylight.
And the song Payback is this intricate critique of the military-industrial complex, the war in the Middle East, the war in Iraq. Nipsey Hussle is spitting bars like, yo, it's been 6 years.
Would it been like 6 years, you still looking for summer? You gonna send more troops, that's your solution to the problem.
He's talking about how we're fighting in these wars over oil.
Over some oil, cause the issue ain't concerning you.
He's talking about all the soldiers that are being sent senselessly to die. So verse 1, immediately, I'm like, okay, this is not what I thought it would be. Like, this is like actually my speed. You want to talk politics, you want to talk critiquing, you know, what we doing, you know, foreign policy, etc. And then it gets better. Verse 2, Nipsey opens it up with,
you a blood, I'm a crip, you a Trey, I'm a O. If you was raised on Slauson, you will be one too.
You a blood, I'm a crip, you a Trey, I'm a O. If you was raised on Slauson, you would be one too. So he went from war in the Middle East, and now we have these two sides going against each other, to now the war in LA. And he's basically telling these guys like, yo, you a Trey, I'm a O, you a blood, I'm a crip. If you was raised on Slauson, you would be the same thing I am. Like, he's basically telling these guys, we are one and the same. The only thing that separates us is where we were born, the block we were born on.
I think if we could get back to that black shit, instead of killing for banging and crack shit, we'll be active.
He said, I think if we can get back to that black shit, pro-black shit, instead of killing for game banging and crack shit, we'd be active. This is a hard set of bars. Nip is saying like, yo, if we can get to back to the pro-black unity thing that we once had as a community, instead of killing each other over game banging and drugs, then we'd really be something. When you listen to the Kendrick Lamar's verse on Nipsey Hussle's song Dedication, this is the kind of stuff Kendrick is talking about.
My nigga L said you do a song with Nip, K-Dot here better grip.
In the verse, Kendrick is having this conversation with his friend L, and L is like, no, you gotta do a song with Nipsey. He's telling Kendrick, you gotta do a song with Nipsey. He one of the hardest Crips out, and then Kendrick is like, oh.
I said here, man, first you hear the words out his lips about flourishing from the streets to black businesses.
I'm gonna do a song with Nipsey, but it has nothing to do with him being a Crip. Yo, he's a man first. You don't hear the stuff he's talking about in his lyrics? This is the type of stuff Kendrick was talking about.
Stand under one flag like an army brigade. It's time to put the deuce down and pick up a K.
Nipsey in this verse, he's talking about revolution. Yo, it's long overdue. We ready for change? Stand under one flag like an army brigade, pick up a K. Like, yo, he says, put the deuce down and pick up a K. Basically saying, yo, them little guns that we killing each other with on the streets, these 22s and stuff, yo, put those down and pick up a weapon of war and actually use it for a good purpose. So immediately I hear this song, I'm listening to Bullets Ain't Got No Name, and I'm trying to give Nipsey Hussle's music a chance. I've heard of him before. I've pretty much dismissed him. This is the song. So this is the song where I became a supporter of Nipsey Hussle's music. Like, this completely eliminated all the preconceived notions that I had about his music. Really made me feel dumb, and I felt like, hey, I'm missing out. All these other mixtapes he's dropped, I have to listen to everything. If this guy is thinking like this, I need to be listening to this. But the song I actually want to talk about is actually a song called Rose Clique. And this song is on the second Marathon mixtape called The Marathon Continues. And on this song, Nipsey Hussle, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, he does probably one of the most impressive lyrical performances that I've ever heard in rap. In a span of like maybe 8 or 9 bars, Nipsey Hussle throws in imagery, multiple references. He interconnects the references throughout the verse, finishes it off with a punchline, and even throws in a double entendre for good measure. And those of us who know rap, we know the double entendre, in terms of literary devices, this is one of the most difficult things to accomplish in rap. It's kind of like a championship in the NBA or in the NFL. If a rapper manages to do one or two or maybe even three really good double entendres throughout their entire career, that's considered a feat, especially if it's a double entendre using references we hadn't really heard before. And Nipsey Hussle does it on this song. So I want y'all to go listen to the whole song because it is legitimately a great song. But I want to start mid-verse because it's in a matter of these bars right here where we get brilliance, lyrical brilliance.
And if we all actors, I guess I'll be Al Pacino.
So Nipsey Hussle starts this scheme off. If we're all actors in this rap game, if we're all actors, I guess I'll be Al Pacino. I want to be Al Pacino.
When they thought I was finito, it's not my Valentino, it's what I got up my sleeve though.
Remember this Al Pacino reference because there's a punchline at the end of this scheme that connects everything back together. So just remember Al Pacino. So Nipsey Hussle throws in Al Pacino, Scarface, Heat. You've seen these movies. Finito, this is an Italian word. Throws in Valentino in for good measure. This is an Italian designer brand. Up my sleeve. Remember this bar too, up my sleeve. He mentions Valentino. This is a designer brand. They make clothes. He mentions sleeves. But it's a reference to an idiom that we have here in America. Maybe you have it in Canada or in your Western country that you live in. It's what I got something up my sleeve. I got something planned, like something that you don't see coming. It's up my sleeve. But it's just great wordplay. But this is where it just gets nasty lyrically, right? Nip goes,
but I do it cause we need more. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s killing with that submarine flow.
Yo, when you come from where I come from, it's rare that you see folks that did it like I did it. But I do it because we need more Cuba Gooding Jr.'s. Kill him with that submarine flow. So Cuba Gooding Jr. at this point, at this time, he's looked at as a great example of a black man. He's well-spoken, he's professional, he's about his business. At this time, he seems to just really be on his P's and Q's. Not many scandals, anything like that. He's just a guy who's really good at his art, really dedicated. So Nipsey is like, yo, we need more Cuba Gooding Jr.'s. But then he throws it in this submarine flow, which doesn't make sense until the next bar.
Kill him with that submarine flow like every man of honor. Had to conquer Rob De Niro.
Like every man of honor. I had to conquer Rob De Niro. Wait, Rob De Niro and Cuba Gooding Jr. were in a movie called Man of Honor, where Rob De Niro plays like this kind of prejudiced naval instructor in the Navy, and this is where the submarine part comes in. The Navy, obviously, they operate submarines and ships. But Nipsey says, yo, like every man of honor, I had to conquer Rob De Niro. So in this movie, Robert De Niro's character is like this tough, initially kind of prejudiced naval instructor that Cuba Gooding Jr. has to deal with. De Niro's character, he opposes Cuba Gooding Jr.'s ambitions as trying to become the first black master diver in the Navy. But over the course of the film, De Niro's character and Cuba Gooding's character, their relationship evolves. In the movie Man of Honor, Cuba Gooding Jr. conquering De Niro, it's not about like physically defeating him or assaulting him. It's more so about overcoming those initial barriers, which eventually results in a really complex relationship between him and De Niro's character. But this ain't even a nasty part. That was a nice line. The Man of Honor mixing that with the Cuba Gooding Jr.'s had to conquer Rob De Niro.
Like every man of honor had to conquer Rob De Niro.
But watch this. Like every man of honor, I had to conquer Rob De Niro. What is De Niro? That money, that cash. So like every man of honor, like every man who got something in life, I had to conquer the money. I had to rob the money. We know where Nipsey comes from. I had to conquer Rob De Niro.
Like every man of honor had to conquer Rob De Niro.
This is a double entendre.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
But wait, there's more. This ain't even a nasty part. There's more.
Had to conquer Rob De Niro. Like Ginger in Casino or that runway light in the heat.
Like every man of honor, I had to conquer Rob De Niro. Like Ginger in Casino or that runway light in Heat. These are all movies, Man of Honor, Casino, and Heat, where Robert De Niro's character can be seen as having been conquered, or in the case of Casino, having been portrayed by Ginger. In Heat, having been killed. That runway light in Heat. We know that airport runway scene in Heat where Robert De Niro's character gets shot by who? Vincent Hanna? Who plays Vincent Hanna in Heat? Who kills Robert De Niro's character in Heat? Is it Al Pacino?
If we all actors, I guess I'll be Al Pacino.
Remember when I told y'all don't forget the Al Pacino? So this is actually like a thing that Lupe Fiasco does in his verses. And I view Lupe Fiasco as probably the greatest lyricist I ever heard. Nipsey is doing this. He throws a reference up top and then completes it later in the verse. And you only gonna catch it if you got that type of hip hop ear. He says, if we all actors, I guess I'll be Al Pacino. Not my Valentino. No, this ain't designer. It's just something I got up my sleeve. But what happened between Pacino and De Niro in the movie Heat? Didn't De Niro's character get set up in a trap? Wasn't he like lured into a trap when he's trying to exact revenge on somebody else? He's lured into this trap. So can't you say that Al Pacino has something up his sleeve?
It's not my Valentino, it's what I got up my sleeve though.
Then the very next bar, Nipsey Hussle name drops LAX, which is where that final scene of Heat takes place, where Pacino kills De Niro's character. So he literally conquers Rob De Niro. He sets up that whole Heat punchline before he ever mentions Heat in the verse. It's just genius writing. Come on, man. Yo, this...
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about
But wait, there's more.
Ginger in casino, wore that runway light in the heat. That shadow in the grass when Vincent shot him off his feet.
Like Ginger in Casino or that runway light in Heat. The shadow in the grass when Vincent shot him off his feet. So this is the imagery. If you've seen the movie, you're already thinking of the scene as I read this. So in that movie Heat, Al Pacino and De Niro, they're on that airport runway and those plane lights, they're illuminating the scene. My movie buffs, please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just going off memory, so correct me if I'm wrong. But because those planes lights are illuminating the scene, Robert De Niro's character, his shadow kind of gives away his position, which then allows Vincent Hanna and Al Pacino to shoot him. The shadow in the grass, then Vincent shot him off his feet.
Wore that runway light in the heat. That shadow in the grass when Vincent shot him off his feet.
So brother, look what Nipsey has given us lyrically. He set up the Al Pacino and what he got up his sleeve. He set that up here. And even when he was up here, he was doing something else. You couldn't really tell what he was going to set up. You just saw he'd rhyme Pacino with Finito and Valentino. It's like, oh, he threw in some Italian references. Okay, cool. The Valentino up my sleeve, that was clever. We talking about clothes, designers. You didn't even realize what it was going, you didn't realize what it would turn into. So he gave us this little wordplay up here, this little scheme. Then he comes back and he's like, yo, every man of honor, Cuba Gooding Jr., Rob De Niro had to conquer Rob De Niro. Great bar. We reference a man of honor, conquer Rob De Niro. Then you got conquer, Rob, De Niro, money, double entendre. Then he give you more references like, yo, Cuba Gooding Jr. ain't the only one that had to conquer Rob De Niro. I'm talking about Ginger in Casino. Or the runway light in Heat. Conquered him, gave away his position. Then he gives you the imagery, the shadow in the grass. When Vincent shot him off his feet, he already done told you he's Vincent. I'm Al Pacino. But wait, there's more. And these are the last couple bars I'm gonna highlight.
In other words, life is just a fight against your disbelief.
Life is just a fight against your disbeliefs.
That's why I'm screaming, I'm the greatest of all time like Young Ali. Play Muhammad to these false prophets in this industry.
It's my favorite bar. I play Muhammad to these false prophets in this industry. I play Muhammad, the prophet Muhammad, who's an actual prophet in the Quran. I'm actually the prophet. I'm actually Muhammad to these false prophets in this industry. That's a bar.
That's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
I played Muhammad to these false prophets in this industry. But he already just told you, I'm the greatest of all time like Young Ali. Ali's first name, Muhammad. I play Muhammad, Young Ali, Prophet Muhammad. Yo, this shit, Nipsey Hussle was scheming so hard on this song. This dude is scheming, bro. This is, I'm not even exaggerating. I said this earlier. Lyrically, I put these 10, 12 bars, however much it is. I put these bars, 10 bars against any 10 bars that I've heard in rap. This is elite level lyricism. And like, this is actual lyricism. Like, this isn't lyricism that's just purposefully trying to be overly complicated, or this isn't lyricism that's like coded by all these symbolisms to where maybe it's a reach, you could break it down, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't a reach. It's not like fake deep in that way. And it's not lyricism where Nipsey is just trying to stack rhymes. Yo, lyrical, miracle, spiritual, millennial, imbio, blennial. Like, no, just to try to sound complex. These bars are delivered very clearly, very effectively. It's not overly complex. It is complex, but it's not written to sound like that. It doesn't sound forced. On top of it, Nipsey delivers all this in just a very chill flow. Like he's just calmly giving it to you. That's true lyricism, man. This is what it's all about. This is hip hop. So anyway, I'll end the video by saying this. Nipsey often spoke about the spook who sat by the door. Again, go read that book if you haven't already. And I truly think he was the rap version of that. He was the rap spook who sat by the door. And I think it's a little bit sad that Nipsey kind of felt that he had to enshroud and disguise and cover up his lyrical ability and his socio-political consciousness and commentary. I think it's sad that he felt that he had to disguise that in order to reach his audience. According to him, he kind of pushed the gangster image more so he can kind of sneak some of the more knowledgeable stuff into the people who are going to listen to that gangster music. But at the same time, it's a sign that he's a good communicator, because the mark of a good communicator is how well does your audience understand you. The mark of a good communicator is not how well you wax poetic or you have such a command over the English language. That's great, but the audience you're speaking to, do they understand what you're saying? Can you adjust your language to meet a higher audience? Can you adjust it to meet a lower comprehension audience? That's a mark of a great communicator. If you can tailor your message to reach different audiences and they understand you. The people understood Nipsey, so he knew what he was doing. And even for me, Nipsey's pushing this gangster image. He's pushing it in his music and his videos. But even he knows, as just a fan of hip hop, he loves hip hop. He knows, like, okay, most of my fans are gonna be this type of person, but I'm gonna sneak some stuff in, like on Clique, that false prophets bar. I'm gonna sneak some stuff in for the backpack rappers, for the super hip hop heads. I'm gonna just throw them a couple every so often, just to let them know I see them. And Nipsey, I see you, bro. Like I caught that like a fastball. So anyway, that's all we got for today. What's y'all favorite bar in this song? Can y'all correct me on some of these movie references? Maybe I missed something. I know I have way bigger movie buffs in my chat. I'm not a real big movie guy, but I did catch these. These are like really famous movies. You talking about Heat, Casino, Scarface. But yeah, please add on if you have more to break down. Like a lot of these YouTubers, they just go on Rap Genius and then just make a video out of the Rap Genius explanations. The stuff that I just talked about, it's not even broken down on Rap Genius at this point. Like this Al Pacino up my sleeve though, the designer Valentino bar up my sleeve. None of this is defined. The Ginger and Casino stuff, the Runway Light and Heat bars, False Prophets, none of this is defined on Rap Genius yet. So this is me raw dogging it. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's all I got for today. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.